The Denver Broncos might be the worst 3-0 team of all time, but 3-0 is 3-0. Today we head on the road for the first time this year, headed to the city of brotherly love to face off against the Philadelphia Eagles, followed by our first AFC West clash of the year, going to SoFi Stadium facing off against the Los Angeles Chargers. It's been a weird start for us so far this year because we're 3-0, we're winning games, and you can never complain when that's the case, even if the wins aren't pretty. But these wins have been really ugly up to this point, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, where we have struggled through the first few weeks of the year. In week 2, we beat the Minnesota Vikings 10-6. The score tells you everything you need to know. The offenses were a little better in week 3 against Jacksonville, but still not great. We ended up winning off of a game-winning field goal as time expired by Will Lutz, and now we're headed for a long road trip. Our next 4 games are away from home. 5 of the next 6 leading into the bye week will all be away. I had originally planned for a prospect profile today. I think I'm going to switch that over to the next episode. Hence why we've got the doubleheader in this one. We need to be more consistent on offense. We need more consistency out of the run game. And then everyone in the passing game needs to step up, especially with the loss of Marvin Mims, who's going to miss the next roughly 4 weeks. Tez Johnson certainly stepped up without him with a huge game in week 3's win against Jacksonville. We're going to need him to continue to produce. I really want to see Chris Brazzell step up. He's been a little quiet so far. The offensive line has had its ups and downs. I like that Francis Mauigoa has not let up a sack yet, so at least one of our tackles has not been unserious. The defense, though, has been unbelievably good. Michael Williams had a 3-sack game in there. Benito's playing well. Basa's playing well. Secondary's been balling. There's a lot to like defensively, and I think the glass half full way of looking at our season is if the offense can get rolling, it's going to be hard to stop us with how good we are on the defensive side of the ball. We've got the Eagles, who won their first game of the year 10-3 and then struggled in losses to the Bills in Seattle. They average less points per game than we allow, so it may very well be another ugly defensive slugfest, given that they've been even worse offensively than us this year. Actually, one of the worst offenses in the NFL. It's certainly a fascinating situation here with the quarterback room and Jalen Hurts, being that a couple years ago they traded up into the first round for Nico Iamaleava. Jalen Hurts was really good last year. It looked like he might be getting his job back, helped lead the Eagles to an NFC Championship appearance. But so far this year, he has not been very good, and you got to imagine the yells from the fans are going to get louder and louder for Nico, especially with Jalen Hurts only having 2 years left on his contract. At the running back position, no more Saquon Barkley. That contract has aged horribly. The opposite of real life. He has regressed all the way to his 73 and is sitting in free agency. They moved up for Jeremiah Love early in the second round to replace him, and they've got some good skill position players headlined by A.J. Brown. No Dallas Goedert, though. It'll be Mitchell Evans starting at tight end. The strength of this team is up front, though. The defensive line is filthy, with Jalen Carter, the reigning defensive rookie of the year, Thomas Davis, who had 10 sacks last year, already has 5 this year, and then Vita Vea and George Karlaftis. That is quite the group. With the Eagles, you know their offensive line is always going to be stout. And then in the secondary, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, C.J. Taylor. Really solid group. The Eagles have underperformed, though, throughout this series, with the exception of last year, where they went on an impressive playoff run and made the NFC Championship. But they've lost handedly in each of their last 2 games, granted against 2 strong teams with the Bills and Seattle. But they certainly have to play better. We'll see if they can do so at home against the Broncos. Up the middle, A.J. Brown comes down with it to the 46. One of the best receivers in the game. Someone who has the ability to take over a game at any given moment. 2nd and 8 up the middle, Will Shipley breaking tackles. Bounces off a blocker. Shipley to the left side is tracked down by Colin Wright. But not before getting 24 yards. An impressive run by the 4th-year back out of Clemson, who has the Eagles marching towards the red zone. Now at the 8, 2nd and goal. Jeremiah Love bounces off blockers, and the rookie out of Notre Dame is in for a touchdown. We got to see him up close and personal in the college football playoff this year, a big reason why Notre Dame won the national title, as the Broncos have it. Genty with the juke move, and he gets the first down. Genty was abysmal against Minnesota in week 2. He had negative yards at the half, Played a little better last week against the Chargers, and we're hoping, again, his consistency will look a lot more like the end of last year as he gets by the first level. And now to the left side, look at all that room. Genty to the 25. He's off to a quick beginning to this game. 2 carries, 34 yards. He's hooping here in the early going. And the Broncos now have it in the red zone. Overall, a very strong opening drive. Can they end off with a touchdown? 3rd and goal. Nix under pressure. Nobody's open. Trying to get something out of nothing. Doesn't look like it's going to happen as Jalen Carter brings him down all the way at the 19-yard line. Him and Bo with some words for each other. Denver still certainly in field goal range as Will Lutz splits it from 36. And the Broncos are on the board. Does feel like we left some points off the board there as it's 7-3. Normally, we're really good in the red zone on both sides of the ball, but not so far today. Hurts is intercepted by Patrick Surtain, climbing the ladder. One-on-one with A.J. Brown. Normally, A.J. Brown comes down with that catch, but not this time. Iron sharpens iron. One of the top receivers in our game, one of the top corners in our game. Surtain wins the battle. Genty up the middle with a nice first down run to the 49. For an Eagles team who is such a good defensive line, they are getting ran over by Genty so far. 3rd and 3, back to him to the outside. Throws the defender on his backside. Cooper DeJean got decked. Cooper DeJean is not a safety because safeties are supposed to know how to tackle. Now, unfortunately, the play isn't going to count. A holding call on Harold Fannin will push it back. We'll have to replay 3rd down to start the second quarter. Eagles lead at 7-3. I'm encouraged by the fact that we're running the ball at a high level so far. We haven't gotten a whole lot from the passing game, though. Bo Nix has been up and down up to this point. Haven't gotten many impressive throws out of him. As it's a 3rd and 7, Bo will look to throw it at the design screen. Harrison Whaley follows his blockers and gets the first down after all to the 36. Good job there by Whaley, able to weave his way through space to keep the drive going. 3rd and 10 now. Bo Nix looks to throw it up the middle. Broken up. In and out of the hands of C.J. Taylor, the young safety out of Vanderbilt. He was looking for Chris Brazzell. 53-yard field goal try for Big Nuts. Will Lutz, it is good. Splits through, and the Broncos bring it within 1. Got to get more from the passing game, though. Nobody's getting open vertically beyond 10 yards. That's got to change. Eagles back with it at the 27. Hurts with a strike up the middle. This is Deion Burks with it, former 6th-round pick a couple of years ago. He has developed really, really nicely into a late-round gem. From the 43, Hurts looking downfield. He's got Burks. Breaks away from right. Marvin Grant tries to catch up, and he cannot. 57-yard touchdown for Deion Burks, and the Eagles add to the lead. Our fun fact about Deion Burks today is that he was actually teammates with Marvin Grant at Purdue before both of them transferred. I think they would have both been teammates with Nick Scorton at Purdue as well. Everybody's leaving the Boilermakers, but I guess it does make sense. The number one thing to do in West Lafayette, Indiana, is to leave. 2nd and 7, Bo Nix with a strike, and it's somehow caught into traffic. Harold Fannin Jr. comes down with it. And Denver's going to keep the chains moving. Probably the longest throw Bo Nix has made all day. 2nd and 5, Genty with all the room in the world. Got to give credit to the interior of the offensive line. Those guys are blocking their tails off in the run game. 2nd and 5, halfway through the second quarter. Nix rolls out to the right side, looking for space, runs for the first down, and he gets it to the 23-yard line. It's kind of odd because all of our big plays are coming from the ground. We're looking to the air for solid 5-6-yard plays at a time, and then these runs are giving us all of our chunk yardage. There's Genty inside to the 8. Jalen Carter hurt on the play. That is not good news. He would go straight to the locker room. 2nd and goal, Genty, no play action. Nix goes short. Harold Fannin breaks the tackle, and he is in for a score. They even faked me out. Nice play there by Harold Fannin, continuing to really impress here in his second season with a bigger role. He looks the part at the tight end position, and Denver brings it within 1, 14-13. Eagles back with it off of their long touchdown on the last drive. Up the middle, Jeremiah Love with the first down. Notre Dame used him in the run game and the passing game during their playoff run, and he was certainly successful whenever he got the ball. Hurts under pressure off the blitz. He's got Burks to the 23-yard line. For how good our defense has been this year and how bad the Eagles' offense has been, doesn't really look that way. Philly's been more than impressive on the offensive side of the ball. Hurts looking, end zone, intercepted again. I wanted to take a knee with Surtain. It looks like he's taking it out instead. Wrapped up at the 21-yard line. Have yourself a first half. Patrick Surtain, who led the NFL in interceptions a year ago with 6, he's got 2 here in the first half alone against his former Alabama teammate, Jalen Hurts. And now with 47 seconds and 2 timeouts, we've got a chance to potentially try to take the lead. The problem is the receivers are playing stinky today. Tez Johnson drops that pass when he very clearly had it in his hands. Bo Nix has not been perfect, but the receivers today have been abysmal. Nobody's getting open. Somehow Bo Nix is perfectly able to thread the needle for Chris Brazzell, who gets it to the 48. Now with just 5 seconds left, it's third down. We've got to figure this out quick. Williams up the middle, dives down at 1. Good job there by Ryan Williams to head to the ground as quick as he could to where we can call the timeout with 1 second left and bring out the field goal team for a 60-yard kick. It's a long one for Lutz, and this one is no good. Wide to the left, and that'll wrap up the first half here in Philadelphia, 14-13. The good news is we're scoring points. The bad news is the offense still feels broken. We have ran the ball at a really high level. 8 carries, 87 yards for Ashton Genty. He's balling. But the passing game has been shaky. 14 of 25 for Bo Nix, just 103 yards. He's averaging 4 yards per passing attempt. We're not able to stretch the field as long as pass is 16 yards. As we take a look at our halftime report across the NFL, a stunner in Las Vegas. The Raiders look for real. Jalen Daniels pointing to the crowd. That was not the shot, Valentine. Maybe the ugliest jumper I've ever seen. It's like he plays for the real-life Kansas basketball team this year. But the Raiders lead 17-3 over Kansas City. As I've said throughout the offseason, I think it's only a matter of time until the Raiders figure it out. And, folks, they are figuring it out. You know who's not figuring it out? Cade Klubnik and the Cleveland Browns. They trail big, 21-0 right now to the Rams. The former Bronco, Cortland Sutton, with the touchdown reception there off of the pass by Shedeur Sanders, who won the starting quarterback job for the Rams this offseason, replacing Matthew Stafford. And he's played well this year. He's having a really good game in this one so far, 9 of 15, $134, and 2 scores. Next, we'll head to Santa Clara. The Bears, without a win so far this year, facing off against the Niners, and Chicago's gotten a good performance up to this point from Caleb Williams. They lead at 16-14 with a safety, along with this touchdown reception by Christian Leary, former undrafted free agent out of Georgia Tech, and another Alabama transfer. We'll see if the Bears can win their first game of the year or if the Niners can take this one back at home. So again, even though we're only down by 1 right now and the offense is on pace for a very respectable 26 points, don't let that fool you. We have not passed the eye test. We've been unable to get the passing game going, and I think everybody is in the wrong. Bo Nix has certainly not been perfect. He's only completed 56% of his passes. He's had some really nice throws in traffic, though, but he's had some misses as well. He's only been sacked once, but he's had to throw out of sacks and has been under pressure. My biggest problem, though, has been the receivers, and this was my fear last year when Marvin Mims got injured, that there wasn't going to be an alpha dog, nobody's able to get open, and that's been the case today. The play from our wide receivers has been horrific. They've got to get it together. We do start with it here in the third quarter. 3rd and 4, Zamir White does not get it. He's wrapped up by the reigning Defensive Rookie of the Year, Thomas Davis. He's a little undersized, but has shown that's not a problem for him in the NFL as Denver elects to punt it. After throwing the ball 25 times in the first half, Bo Nix did not throw it once on this drive. We went run, run, run. Speaking of running, Jalen Hurts on the read option to the 49-yard line. A good scramble there off of the design QB keeper. From the 35 now, 2nd and 7. Read option again. Hurts has space, first and has down. Chris Abrams' drain flying. Every single one of Jalen Hurts' passes in the first half was caught. He went 12 of 14. His only 2 incompletions, both picked off by Patrick Surtain. On third down, Hurts is just going to dump it off, but look at Love getting by the linebacker and getting the first down. A nifty maneuver by the rookie, keeping the chains moving. Now from the 13, 2nd and 10, here's Jalen Hurts. Under pressure, rolls out to the right, and he's got plenty of room. Walks it in for a score, and the Philadelphia Eagles add to the lead, 21-13. A really strong drive by Jalen Hurts, who outside of the 2 interceptions has played a really good game. Denver back with it, 3rd and 8. Short throw caught for Brazel. He does not get the first down. I think that one is on Bo Nix. Brazel was open, and if the pass was not behind him, then he would have been able to outrun Julian Humphrey to get the conversion. We're going to go for it on 4th and 1, and we get it with Genty. I get we had it at like the 35-yard line, but we had a 4th and inches on the last drive, didn't get it, and regretted it. I didn't want to make the same mistake twice. Play action on 2nd and 1. There we go. That one is caught by Brazel to the 42. More of that, please. Like seeing Bo Nix stretching the field. I like seeing the play action successful. Final play of the quarter, 3rd and 3. Nix throws it into the ground under a ton of pressure. And again, he's only taken 1 sack, but the offensive line has got to give him more time to throw it. That'll wrap up the third quarter, 21-13. Another ugly quarter of offense for the Denver Broncos, who are likely to go for it again here on 4th down to start the 4th. We started the drive of the 4th down conversion. We're looking for another with Harrison Whaley in the backfield. Gets by the initial defender and gets the first down. It looked like somebody read the play and was in the backfield, but Whaley's able to run right by him. 3rd and 1 now at the 19. Nixon empty. Looks to throw it. Under pressure again. And he's got to make that throw. Tez Johnson's open. Again, he was under pressure. It's not an easy play to make with a defender in your face. But Tez Johnson was wide open. One of the few good routes from our receivers today. 4th and 1. We'll go for it again. And Zamir White is stuffed by Vita Vea. That was our 3rd 4th down attempt at the drive. And I guess 3rd time's the charm in that sense for the Eagles, who get it back up 8. Jeremiah Love pushed backwards by a number of defenders, including Nick Bonito and Jeffrey Bassa. 3rd and 8. Big play here for the Eagles with under 7 to go. Denver's got to get a stop. Jalen Hurts rolls out, and he is sacked. We have not sent a ton of pressure, but there's a big one. Baron Browning with his first sack of the year. I was surprised to see that going through the stats before the game. He did not have any yet. Denver back with it. Genty up the middle, runs for the first down to the 33. 13 carries, 111 yards for Genty, and even as this clock continues to dwindle and we're playing against the time, we're still trying to find ways to get Genty the ball because he's been so good today. Up the middle, look at all that space. Genty breaking tackle, still on his feet, all the way to the 49. And as good as he's been, the run blocking deserves so much credit. Those guys in the interior have been unbelievable, for him at least. Maybe not in pass protection. 2nd and 8. Here is Christian Horn to the 39-yard line. Denver moving it nicely. Thomas Davis is hurt. That's not good news. Him and Jalen Carter banged up. Their top 2 defensive linemen. Genty is thrown down to the ground. That is Jalen Carter. Was he trying to punch him? Carter back in the game, making plays. He's certainly a better football player than he is driver. 2nd and 12. Nix under pressure. On the run for Harold Fannin. He brings it to the 8 for a gain of 33. That's the Bo Nix we've been looking for today. And credit to the offensive line for giving him just enough time, and then Harold Fannin for being wide open. After not punching it in on 1st and 2nd goal, Genty is in on 3rd and goal. We went for the short pass, and it leads to a score. We're now a 2-point conversion away from tying it. Our dinking and dunking strategy in the second half has kind of worked a little bit. I think the passing game has done a good job of adapting. Bo Nix has seen that he's not able to really stretch the field. Nobody's getting open. He doesn't have enough time. On the 2-point try, Whaley is just short. The Eagles with the stop. Quinyon Mitchell brings him down. So Philadelphia holds on to the lead, and they'll get the ball back as we decide not to chew the clock. I trust our run defense to get a stop here. 2.5 minutes to go. Jeremiah Love going backwards. B.J. Ojolari brings him down. Damon Clowney was there as well. We would let the clock go to the 2-minute warning. 2nd and 11. Jeremiah Love, solid run, gets 5. We're going to use our first timeout. So with 2 left and a 3rd and medium, I wonder what the Eagles are going to do here. We're prepared for the pass. It is a pass. Hurts rolls left. On the run. Downfield, he's got his man. A.J. Brown with the first down. Now he is out of bounds. That stops the clock. But the Eagles are certainly not complaining as they get the conversion. Another first down ends it for good. Big hit by Drew Sanders as Love loses a yard. 2nd and 11 now for the Philadelphia Eagles. Hurts back to Love, and he loses a couple more. It's Colin Wright. 3rd and 12. What do you do here if you're the Eagles? You could try to throw the ball and end the game. I would run it, though. Let the clock burn. Punt the ball away, give Denver bad field position. What is this play call? I mean, I guess they did run it, and they will try to punt it to give us bad spotting. If you think about it, it's going to be really hard for us to drive down the field and win this game because there's only a minute left. We don't have any timeouts, and we have not shown any ability to stretch the field vertically starting at the 11. On the flip side, though, all we need is a field goal to win. All we've got to do is get it to probably around the 35-yard line. Not going to be easy with just a minute left and no timeouts. Next on first down, incomplete. Trying to send it towards the sidelines. Cooper DeJean got a hand on it. Now a 2nd and 10. Next, quick throw, short for Christian Horn. Gets the first down, jukes his way out of bounds. We're just looking for the sidelines right now. Quick passes to stop the clock and get solid gains. From the 23, Nix has a wide-open man downfield. Busted coverage. Christian Horn inside the 40. Everybody's got to get to the line. Clock it. As we spike it at the 33 with around 30 seconds left. What a play by Bo Nix. So with no timeouts, it's a little risky to keep running plays, but I'm going to run the ball. We're going to be in position to spike it, and we're going to let the clock go all the way to 3 seconds and bring out the field goal team. It has not been a good game for us offensively, but I've got to give these guys credit. When we needed big plays, we got them. On the previous drive, we needed a touchdown, we got it. We needed some big plays to put us in field goal range, and we got it with the huge catch by Christian Horn. So that brings on Will Lutz. It's not a gimme. The Eagles call a timeout to ice him. 43-yarder, wind going to the right. Will Lutz for the win. It is no good! He missed it! And the Denver Broncos lose their first game of the year. The timeout by head coach Nick Sirianni to ice the kicker proves to be the dividend. Will Lutz made a game-winning field goal at the buzzer against Jacksonville last week. Today he loses it at the buzzer. An unfortunate loss for us, but I think even if we won this game, I still wouldn't feel particularly good about it because I've got some very real concerns about our play on the offensive side of the ball. Even though we were clutch on offense over the last 5 minutes, that does not reverse how badly we played on offense through the rest of the game. And today in particular, it's not like the defense was that fantastic either. Bo Nix only completed 57% of his passes. I don't know how he averaged 10 yards per completion. 80% of his throws were within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. And it wasn't entirely his fault. It's mostly because the receivers were not getting open vertically, and he didn't have a ton of time to throw the ball. So he had to adjust, and I think Bo Nix did a good job of that, of playing to the defense's hand. But he also missed some throws. He only completed 57% of his passes. Jalen Hurts had the 2 interceptions, but otherwise I thought played quite well. Genty was terrific. Got to give him credit. We really ran the ball. We really leaned on that in the fourth quarter. 8 catches for Brazel. He was our underneath guy. 8 for 122 and a score for Deion Burks. Christian Horn made some big plays late. Harold Fannin had a good game. Not much from Tez Johnson, though. 1 catch, 5 yards. He was clamped down by Cooper DeJean, who is not a safety. He'll lock up your number 1, and he sure did today. Both defenses, I thought, played pretty well. Not our best game defensively, especially against a bad Eagles offense, but we did good enough to where we should have won the game, and it didn't help that Will Lutz missed 2 kicks. I'm not going to give him too much flack for the one at the end of the first half. That was from like 60 yards out, but to miss the second one, 43 yards, straight ahead for the win, that was brutal. He had to make that. Let's make matters even worse, shall we? We got a big injury on the defensive side of the ball. Torn abdominal for Nick Bonito. He will miss the next 4 games. This one certainly sucks. We know how good he is. Even though he only has 2 sacks this year and hasn't gotten one since week 1, I think he's played really well so far. He's clearly made an impact. He has 8 tackles for loss. He's been good against the run. So we're going to have to find ways to replace him. More B.J. Ojulari, more Mateo Uiagalelei, and more Damon Clowney. Here are your scores around the league. As for the players of the week, Avery Johnson, Josh Allen, Jack Campbell, and Nick Bolton. So as we go into week 5, it's no secret, we've got to change something on the offensive side of the ball because what we're doing is not good enough. And it's weird because we're getting yardage at a high rate. We're not turning the ball over that much, but we're not scoring and we're not getting consistent drives. And this is not the first time this has been an issue for us. We've had spurts really since season 2 where this has been a problem. And when I look at the inconsistencies from the quarterback position, from the run game, from the receivers, from the offensive line, the fact that it's everybody tells me that it's a coaching issue and we're going to fire the offensive coordinator. I get that the team's winning games. We're 3-1. It's early in the year. But at what point do we have to make a change? The inconsistencies on offense over the last few years has gotten unacceptable. Jamie Rodriguez will be our new hire. I think his scheme is similar enough to what we're already running. We can't change the entire playbook during the middle of the year. That's not reasonable for the players to figure out. We can't expect them to learn an entire new set of plays, but we're going to change things a little bit. There's going to be some new stuff sprinkled in there, and I'm hoping just having a coaching change to begin with will help rile the guys up a little bit more. We've got to also keep perspective, though, because things could be worse. We could be the 0-4 Los Angeles Chargers, who have been dreadful this year. They have averaged 14 points per game with an arguably elite quarterback. Struggled their first 3 games of the year mightily. Played a little better against the Steelers, scoring 24 points, only losing by 3. But they've been dreadful this year. Their average point differential is a nearly 3-score game. Justin Herbert has not been good enough. The skill position group has not been good enough. The offensive line's obviously really strong. They drafted Ty Chan in the first round, an 84 overall guard, to pair with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. But the offense just isn't clicking, and they haven't gotten enough defensively either. We know that this is a strong team. They've been a consistent playoff-level team over the last few years. But if you remember, they went on a bad losing streak towards the end of last year, largely because Justin Herbert got injured the last time we played against them. That set this team in a downward spiral where they lost 5 games in a row towards the end of the year. That's carried over into this year. They have not recovered since their collapse a year ago. So if you think things are going badly for us, they're going way worse for the Chargers. But that doesn't mean we don't have our own problems, and I'm excited to see what things will look like with the new offensive coordinator, Jaime Rodriguez. Here is Nick, as a wide open man, it's Tez Johnson, looking for a block from Brazel to the 28. Chris Brazel certainly needs to be a better blocker. I don't think he's been very good in that regard. 3rd down and 9 now for Denver at the 27. We're moving it well early. Up the middle, Harrison Whaley with a first down into the red zone. I think it's especially important that we start this game strong offensively, set the tone, get 7 on this drive to put ourselves ahead early. On 1st down, Nix looks short. He's got Brazel inside the 5, just shy of the end zone to the 1. The Broncos are marching on the doorstep, though, looking to punch it in. 1st and goal at the 1. QB sneak. Bo Nix is in. A very strong first drive under the new offensive coordinator, Coach Rodriguez. We needed to set the tone offensively, start this game with a touchdown, and we do exactly that. Love to see it. Chargers now with for the first time today. Herbert sacked on the screen. Aleem, the Dream, McNeil, who had that huge game in week 1 against the Bears, has been quiet since. He's there with his 3rd sack of the year. 3rd and 20, here is Herbert, looks to throw it. Will go short, and Dameon Pierce gets rocked by Drew Sanders. So Denver gets it back. Very good opening 5 minutes with a touchdown drive on offense and then a 3-and-out on defense. Bo Nix looking good so far, pushing it downfield. He's got Harold Fannin, who brings it to the 47-yard line. Bo Nix has had time to throw it. The receivers are getting open. It's only been around a half dozen dropbacks, but the early returns look promising. Look at Genty. All the way down the field, he gets 35. Big run to the outside. That will not count because this one's coming back. A holding call against the guard, Rasheed Walker. That'll send us to our own 47-yard line. A net difference of nearly 50 yards. That is unfortunate. So now we're looking at a 2nd and 15. Nix will look to throw it up the middle. Harold Fannin's going to make up some of the yardage, but it is a 4th and 2 now. Nice tackle by Junior Colson, the all-pro linebacker in his 4th year out of Michigan. We're going to keep the offense out on the field. As we know from last week, we're not in Will Lutz's field goal range. Genty goes to the outside, gets the first down, and he gets around 10. It looked like he might have had space up the middle. It was a little risky to cut to the outside, but it proved to be a good decision. He keeps the drive going. 3rd and 2 now from the 23. Back to Genty. First down inside the 10. Another big start for Genty. 6 carries, 38 yards. He brings it to the 4. And, of course, that doesn't even account for the huge run that was called back. 1st and goal now. Bo Nix calling for a switch at the line. Play action. Looking for the big man, and it's dropped. We were hoping to get the big man touchdown for Tree Babalade, the first-round offensive tackle. Doesn't happen, though. After a penalty at 2nd and goal, Nix on the run with a strike. Tez Johnson comes down with it for the score. A perfect throw, perfect timing on the nose. And the brotherly connection strikes to make it 14-0. Palmer jukes away from Colin Wright, brings it to the 45. The Chargers have only had 4 offensive plays so far. They've got to get it together on this side of the ball because so far it looks like the Broncos offense might be fixed. Damian Pierce loses 3. That is B.J. Ojulari who brings him down, getting a lot of extra reps with the injury to Nick Bonito. That'll wrap up the first quarter. I know it's only 10 minutes. It is not time to overreact. Sample sizes matter. But we look really good so far. Bo Nix has been terrific. The supporting cast on offense has been fantastic. Defensively, we're looking strong as well. Still got 3 more quarters to go, but so far, the change in coaching has proven to be a good decision up to this point, as that one is batted down by Chris Abrams-Drain. Another stop defensively. Chargers punt it away. And a good punt at that. We will be starting this drive at the 8. Nix goes short. Genty with it. Gets the first down. Gains around 14 yards, and that'll get the Broncos out of safety territory. After a penalty, though, it's now a 3rd and 16. The one thing we have been sloppy with is the flags. Here's Genty. Gets through defenders. Genty doesn't get by the last defender. That almost worked. If he was just able to squeak by Alohi Gilman there, I think he could have had the first down or at the very least been close. Chargers back with it. 2nd and 13. It's Amari Cooper. Down the field. Abrams-Drain will not catch him. 70 yards for Coop. And the Chargers might be back in the game. They needed a spark offensively, and they get it. 14-7. Broncos right back with it. From the 28, here's Nix. Under pressure, he is sacked by Marcus Davenport. We dominated in the first quarter, but it seems like we are quickly losing steam, coming back to earth, and that first quarter may very well have just been a fluke. We're going to go back to the screen game on 3rd and long. The Chargers see it coming this time. Whaley only gets 4, wrapped up by Dayan Henley. And the Chargers get it back. They've looked really good early in the second quarter. Herbert up the middle of the strike. It's Joshua Palmer. Canada's finest breaks away from Wright and is wrapped up by Patrick Surtain and Javon McIntyre, but not before getting it to the 32-yard line. I mean, it's been a flip of the switch from the first quarter into the second quarter so far. It's like both teams switch sides. Herbert misfires on 3rd down, though. Receiver was wide open, but the pass was overthrown, and that'll bring out the field goal unit, looking to bring the lead within 4. 49-yard try is up. It is good, and so that'll make it 14-10. I feel like this is a big drive for the offense. We had the 2 scores early. Bo Nix was on fire. Everything was clicking. But the last 2 drives have not been so successful. So it'll be interesting to see how we respond. Here's Fannin. Breaks a tackle. Fannin with a first down off of the very quick pass I'll be honest, I didn't even want to throw him the ball. I was clicking X to try to hike it. Bo Nix just sent it over to Fannin, but it worked out. From the 41, Nix rolls out, looking downfield, launches a bomb! Whaley to the 1! Harrison Whaley, 58 yards! Where has this guy been under center? Bo Nix launches a beaut down the field. His deep ball's been very inconsistent over the years, but that's one of the prettiest ones I've ever seen from him. Junior Colson, number 25, is one of the best linebackers in the country, and he got left in the dust. What a route by Whaley. First and goal. Strike for Harold Fannin. Bo Nix was under pressure, rolls out. First read wasn't open, but he slips it right for Fannin. Derwin James, number 3, has his eyes on the ball the whole time, but Bo Nix places it to where Derwin James will never have a chance to touch the ball. His ball placement, pause, has been unbelievable today. Shout out Bo, he's balling. As Joshua Palmer is unable to come down with that one, Surtain deflects it away. Denver gets it back, 2.5 minutes left in the second. Nix under pressure, sacked again by Marcus Davenport. He's been one of the few bright spots defensively for the Chargers. After getting some yards on second down, it's now 3rd and 6. Nix, clean pocket, goes short. Genty with the first down. He's out of bounds at the 32, so the sack proves to not be that big of a deal. 16 of 22 for Bo Nix. He's got an outside chance at 300 yards in just the first half to go along with 3 all-purpose touchdowns. Genty with another big run to the outside, and there's another flag. I feel like every time we get a big run to the outside, it gets called for holding. And it's not just here, it's with the Kansas dynasty as well. I feel like Rasheed Walker is our now version of James Livingston. Solid player, but he's so grabby. 3rd and 7, that one is broken up, incomplete. Good coverage there by the Los Angeles Chargers. They'll get it back, looking to make it a 1-score game late in the first half. From the 27, short throw is caught. Dameon Pierce with the first down. Sometimes the biggest play you can make is dumping it off and letting your running back get some damage after the catch. Under a minute left in the first half, Herbert's pass is caught, shy of the first down marker for the tight end Bryson Nesbitt, and LA will elect to punt it away. So the Broncos are going to get it at the 32, looking to add to the lead. Nix on the run, what a throw! Chris Brazzell to the 47, and the Broncos are going to use their second timeout. We still have 1 left. We still have a little bit of time as it's now 3rd down. Nix rolls out under pressure. Nobody's open, but he's got space and gets around 8. A good scramble there by Bo Nix. And on 4th and 2, we might as well go for it. With under 20 seconds left, it's not like the Chargers are really going to have time to do anything. Play action. Nix looking downfield. He's got his man! Harold Fannin to the 22. What a throw by Bo Nix. 10 seconds left now. We still have that timeout in our back pocket. Nix looks to throw it. Under pressure, looking for the end zone. It's dropped. With all the defenders in the area, it's impressive. He got it to Tez Johnson, but he can't hang on. 5 seconds left. We're going to run another play. We've got to do it quick, though. Nix has Ryan Williams, and he's in for a touchdown with 1 second to go. A gutsy decision to keep the offense out on the field there, but our new play caller, Jaime Rodriguez, trusted Bo Nix to make a smart play, and his trust paid off. Good route by Williams to get open, matched up with the linebacker. Bo Nix, that was the best half I have seen from him in the NFL. 21 of 32, 304 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. He also has 1 on the ground as well. The offense has been fantastic. Everybody's eaten. The most amount of points we've scored this year is 28, and we already had that mark at halftime. Let's take a look at some scores around the rest of the NFL. We will start in Minnesota. The Vikings gave the Chiefs a battle early, but Kansas City just kept chipping away as this game went along. The second-round rookie receiver out of Oregon, Jurion Dickey, played quite well. As the Chiefs now sit 4-1, they beat Minnesota 35-17. I think this is going to be a really exciting 3-horse race in our division. The Chiefs are 4-1. We're 3-1. The Raiders are 3-1. Could prove to be some big games late in the year with those 3 teams. In Los Angeles, a low-scoring start so far, but it's the Bears who lead 14-0. Chicago did win their first game of the year last week against San Francisco. They're looking to keep it going against the Rams, and defensively, they've been really impressive so far. Their first-round pick at edge rusher DJ Wesolak amongst the NFL leaders in sacks. I guess I don't feel so bad about him sacking Bo Nix twice back in Week 1. And then back on Thursday night, the Bengals head to Sin City to beat the Raiders. Vegas gave them a good fight, but the Bengals win 31-21. Again, though, I feel like the Raiders are going to continue to be very competitive as this year goes along. Jalen Daniels hasn't necessarily been terrific this year, but he's built upon the strong ending to his season last year and has been a very respectable starting quarterback and has helped lead the Raiders to a strong start. As we go into the second half, I wouldn't say it was a perfect first half, but it's hard to nitpick. I thought we looked really good on both sides of the ball. As I mentioned against the Eagles, my biggest complaint offensively was the play of the wide receivers. They were not getting open, they were not separating, they were not stretching the field, so our strategy passing has been don't throw it to the receivers. Harold Fannin, 7 catches, 82 yards and a score. Harrison Whaley, 4 catches, 81 yards. Ashton Jeanty, 4 catches, 33 yards. Those guys have been the focal points of the offense, not the receivers. Chargers open up with it here in the third. Herbert will go short. It's Dameon Pierce with space. Is tackled by Marvin Grant, who also tackles the offensive lineman. So far, so good on this drive for the Chargers, as it's now a 3rd and 5 from the 33. Looking to make it a 2-score ball game, put themselves back in it. Boink, in the air, intercepted! Colin Wright tips it into the hands of Javon McIntyre, who gets it to the 23. I guess McIntyre has a thing for tipped passes. He had the tipped interception in the playoff game last year against Buffalo, and he gets one here. I know we haven't really talked a whole lot about the defense today because all the attention has gone to the offense, but the defense has been really good. Other than the 70-yard touchdown pass to Amari Cooper, we've only let up 3 points the rest of the game. 3rd and 8. Nix misfires for Tez Johnson. That was a bad throw in what otherwise was a great first half for Nix. He finishes the first half again, 21-32, 304 and 4 all-purpose scores. Accurate, precise, pushing the ball downfield, total package. Herbert goes deep. It's caught by Amari Cooper to the 34. Chris Abrams drained just a split second too slow to react until Cooper catches the ball. 3rd and 10, Herbert rolls out, looking to run with it, gets by Surtain, and Herbert slides at the 6. Gain of 28 yards for Justin Herbert. The Chargers in the red zone looking to make it a 2-score ball game. They're having trouble punching it in, but they will on 3rd and goal. Amari Cooper has been unguardable today. He has turned back the clock. Chris Abrams' drain has gotten waxed by him. Next up the middle on 1st down, he's got Harold Fannin. 8 catches, 100 yards for Fannin. The leap that he has taken from his rookie year to now has been so pivotal for us. He's become a very key piece of this offense. Jeanty on 1st down, pushed backwards and should have just gone down earlier as it's a loss of 6. Trey Hendrickson finishes him off as now it's a 3rd and 10 here for the Broncos. Nix has a clean pocket and threads the needle perfectly. Another dot from Bo Nix for Tez Johnson. Bo Nix has been extremely confident throwing the ball into tight windows, and his confidence has paid off. His accuracy's been flawless on some of those throws today. 28-17 going into the 4th. We did not score in the 3rd quarter, but it wasn't necessarily a bad quarter for us as we're starting to really move it down the field nicely. 1st and goal, Jeanty gets nothing, and he appears to be injured on the play. Well, fun's over, guys. It was an enjoyable 3 quarters, but now Jeanty is banged up. Remember as a rookie when he tore his pec, that was in this building. Now a 2nd and goal. Zamir White, likely the number 1 running back the rest of the way. He is pushed backwards, does a good job of staying up, but again, he probably shouldn't have as he loses 4. 3rd and goal now at the 13 for the Broncos. Play action. Nix rolls out on the run, end zone, touchdown! Chris Brazel II comes down with it. Wash, rinse, repeat. Nix under pressure with a defender in his face, sends it into traffic, but he sends it perfectly to where Brazel's the only guy who can catch it. Got to give Brazel some credit as well. He took a big hit as he caught the ball. Way to hang on to it. We've had a handful of drops in this game, but we've had a handful of really impressive catches through contact as well. 35-17. Chargers back with it. Herbert looking to match the 5 total touchdowns from Bo Nix. As he looks downfield, and it is tipped and incomplete. I think Ladd McConkey had a chance of coming back to that ball. He just missed out. 4th and 4. The Chargers will elect to go for it with 8.5 minutes to go. Herbert rolls out to the right, scrambles, and gets the first down. Wrapped up out of bounds by another former Oregon Duck, Mateo Uiagalelei. Chargers playing against the clock here, down by 3 scores with 8 minutes left. Herbert, really nice throw. Cooper breaks a tackle. I mean, seriously, is this 2018? Why is Amari Cooper playing this well? 2nd and 5, play action here as Herbert goes short. It's Ladd McConkey in for a touchdown, and the Chargers bring it within 2 scores. Andrew Ladd McConkey with the touchdown. Yes, his real name is Andrew. Google it. And it's 35-24. 2nd and 2 for the Broncos. Nix looking to call a switch at the line. It was originally a run play, but the Chargers are stacking everybody at the box. So he figures, fake out the defense, lob it up, and Harold Fannin comes down with it. Now, I'll be honest, I did not expect Derwin James to stick with him in man coverage, but Derwin James lost his footing late into the route. Fannin's able to come back and makes the play. 3rd and 9 will go back to the air. Harrison Whaley gets around 6. Close to the first down. Bo Nix now 30 of 42, over 400 yards. That's a career high. And 4 passing touchdowns. We're going to go for it here on 4th and 3. The rookie L.J. Martin in the backfield, play action. Nix looks to throw it. Hit as he throws, tipped at the line, incomplete. The Chargers, unironically, are not out of the game. They have their 3 timeouts. They're only down by 11. It's not entirely inconceivable. So we've got to play good football the rest of the way and not leave Herbert with all this space. Both Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts have ran it well in back-to-back weeks. We've got to do a better job of containing the scramble. Nice catch there by Nesbitt, the former first-round tight end out of the University of North Carolina. Final play before the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 10, play action. Herbert looks short. It's Pierce. Gets the first down. Hit hard at the 5 by Drew Sanders, who's had a really strong game. Jeffrey Buss has been pretty quiet for his standards, but Sanders has been great. 1st and goal, Herbert is intercepted in the end zone. B.J. Ojolari, the first pick of his career, wrapped up at the 29, and that probably just about does it. The Chargers were a touchdown and a 2-point conversion away from cutting the lead down to 3. But in order to have it come back, they could not afford to turn it over inside the 5. First down pretty much ends it for good. 3rd and 3. Nix looks to throw it, and it is tipped and incomplete, looking for Tez Johnson. So the Chargers get the stop. They're still in this game, and their hope at their first win of the year is not dead yet. Palmer out of bounds at the 43. They've got to move quick. Time and their timeouts are not on their side. Down to 40 seconds, up the middle. It's Nesbitt, hit hard at the 18. Baron Browning a little bit banged up. We're not going to risk it with him. Down by 11, already not having Nick Bonito. 2nd and 10, off the blitz. Drew Sanders is there with the sack. That is the first sack by our defense today since our first defensive play of the game. 4th and 18, Chargers got to go for it, and it is tipped and intercepted again. Patrick Surtain, his 3rd pick of today's episode, and that will do it. 35-24, a much-needed rebound win for the Denver Broncos with new offensive coordinator Jaime Rodriguez, who dazzles in his debut as Denver goes up to 4-1. Now, I will say, we're not going to overreact off of one game for a couple of reasons. For one thing, when NFL teams fire a coach mid-season, it's common for the team to play really well for a game or 2 after the switch, and then they come down to earth. Along with that, the Chargers are 0-5. They've been one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. So we have to remember that context. But Bo Nix balled out. He was unbelievable. 31 of 46, 418, 4 touchdowns. Best game of his career, hands down. He was making ridiculous throws on the run, in structure, threading the needle. He was awesome. Justin Herbert, I think, also played a really good game. He threw 3 interceptions in the second half. I don't think any of them were his fault. 2 of them were tipped. 2 of them were after the 2-minute warning. I don't blame him. If the supporting cast and defense was a little bit better, it could have been a different story. A lot of guys stood out through the air. Now, we did have 6 drops. I don't want to get too mad because we also had some impressive contested catches, but we can't have 6 drops per week. Harold Fannin was really good. Harrison Whaley was great. Amari Cooper was ridiculous. And then Ryan Williams, Tez Johnson, and Chris Brazzell all were pretty solid. They all scored. Defensively, we made a handful of plays. We had 3 interceptions in this game, but again, 2 of them were tipped, so take them with a grain of salt. I thought this was our worst defensive game of the year. Not that that says a whole lot. We haven't had many bad ones. But against an offense that's been horrific this year, I felt like, especially in the second half, we really were not that good other than the turnovers. Gus Hartwig tears his labrum. He will be out for a little bit, but Ashton Jeanty will be good to go. The knee injury proves not to be a big deal. As we take a look at our scores across the NFL, it feels refreshing seeing us again with a high score. Last week, the Eagles were the lowest scoring winning team, and that hurt my heart. Players of the week, Avery Johnson for a second week in a row. Ew. Bo Nix, obviously. Duh. Along with Edgerrin Cooper and Oregon legend Jabbar Muhammad. So that'll send us to next episode. Really fun game against the Raiders that I'm going to be excited about. Curious to see how the Raiders look up close and personal. Next episode also 100% will be the first prospect profile of the year. We'll be going over the quarterbacks in this year's draft class. I know you guys seem to be intrigued by potentially drafting one early this year. It'll be interesting to see if Bo Nix's performance against the Chargers can change some opinions. And it'll be interesting to see if that game is going to be consistent with him, with the new offensive coordinator, or if it's just a fluke. Hopefully the former, but we'll have to find out. That'll wrap up the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out. Broncos country. Let's ride.